When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? But the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. Is there aught we hold in common with the greedy parasite who would lash us into serfdom and would crush us with his might? Is there anything left to us but to organize and fight? For the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. It is we who plowed the prairies, built the cities where they trade, dug the mines and built the workshops, endless miles of railroad laid. Now we stand outcast and starving midst the wonders we have made, but the union makes us strong. Everybody, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. Oh, there's more. It keeps going. All the world that's owned by idle drones is ours and ours alone. We have laid the wide foundations, built it skyward stone by stone. It is ours not to slave in, but to master and to own, while the union makes us strong. I'm going to skip. I'm not going to do the Dayenu thing where you do Dayenu every. They have taken untold millions that they never toiled to earn, but without our brain and muscle, not a single wheel can turn. We can break their haughty power, gain our freedom when we learn that the union makes us strong. Hey, CB Day. All right. Oh, last verse and then one more, solidarity forever. In our hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of armies magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to birth a new world from the ashes of the old, for the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. There it is, solidarity forever. It's Labor Day. Happy Labor Day. That is the mighty Pete Seeger. Solidarity Forever. What can we learn about that song? What can I tell you about that song? Hey, Mary in Chicago. Hey, Bliquet. Hey, Richard. Hey, Dawn. Hey, CB Day. Hey, Dave in LA. Oh, Dave in LA. You're back. Your name is back. Nice to see you. Dawn. Nuro. Hey, Mom. I'm going to blow my nose. Excuse me. Solidarity forever. Yeah, that the thumbnail is the sunset from last night. It was quite a dramatic sunset. I went down there and there were some kids jumping off the dune, which you're not allowed to do. The dunes are protected. I remember sophomore year in college, we were reading some old colonial era documents from this very town, that the town had passed an ordinance 400 years ago to protect the dunes, because they understood already somehow that the dunes and the dune grass are the only thing that protected this little strip of land from disappearing into the ocean. But then there are these kids jumping on it. So I explained to them that that's not allowed. They didn't know. The parents didn't know. La 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 la. But meanwhile, everyone else is just there gazing at the beautiful sky, and I'm looking at the kids on the dunes. It's a parable. And it turns out I was right. You got to look at the kids. Someone's got to explain to those kids you're not allowed to jump all over the dune grass. Their parents aren't doing it. Their parents are busy taking photos. So I stepped in. That's what I'm saying. Thumbnail. Hey, Rafi. Yeah, thumbnail. Where does it come from? Good point. I guess it's just the size of it. I don't know. It could have been called anything. So, yes, it's Labor Day. Oh, let me look up that song and see what I can tell you about that song. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Ralph Chaplin began writing Solidarity Forever in 1913 while he was working as a journalist covering the Paint Creek, Cabin Creek strike of 1912 in Kanawha County, West Virginia, having been inspired by the resolve and high spirits of the striking miners and their families who had endured the violent strike. So it predates Pete Seeger. It was a West Virginia mining strike. He completed the song on January 15th, 1915, 1/15/15 in Chicago, on the date of a hunger demonstration. His name was Ralph Chaplin, who wrote it. Chaplin was a dedicated wobbly, a writer at the time for Solidarity, the official IWW publication. He shared the analysis of the IWW embodied in its famed preamble printed inside the front cover of every Little Red Songbook. The Little Red Songbook, apparently, I heard about this yesterday on the radio. Songbooks were a popular feature of unions and of strikes. The preamble. Okay, I'm not going to read the preamble, but you can read about it on Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia. The outlook of the preamble is embodied in Solidarity Forever, which enunciates several elements of the IWW's analysis. The third stanza, it is he who plowed the prairies. This is echoed in stanzas 4 and 5. Workers claim to all the world. In the second stanza, is there aught we hold in common with the greedy parasite? Assumes the two antagonistic classes described in the preamble. And the sixth stanza projects a utopian outcome, a new world brought to birth from the ashes of the old. Yeah, classic song of renewal. In this case, renewal through solidarity. Since the 70s, women have added verses to Solidarity Forever to reflect their concerns as union members. One popular stanza goes like this. We're the women of the union, and we sure know how to fight. We'll fight for women's issues, and we'll fight for women's rights. A woman's work is never done from morning until night. Women make the union strong. And then there's a variation on that from Canada. All right, so there it is. Solidarity, solidaridad por siempre, para siempre. All right, that's the song. I want to just see, when did Pete Seeger get involved? Pete Seeger. I don't know, actually. Oh, it says Seeger's father, the Harvard-trained composer and musicologist Charles Louis Seeger, was born in Mexico City. I didn't know that. His dad was a composer. All right, well, maybe someone in the crowd knows when Pete Seeger reworked the song or just made it his own. I think it must have been at some strike also. Seeger went to Harvard College on a partial scholarship. He became involved in politics, dropped out in 1938. He dreamed of a career in journalism. His first musical gig was leading students in folk singing at the Dalton School, where his aunt was principal. He polished his performance skills during a summer stint of touring New York State with the Vagabond Puppeteers, a traveling puppet theater. One of their shows coincided with a strike by dairy farmers. The group reprised its act in October in New York City. All right. So he had various encounters with the labor movement. Well, it's a giant entry on Wikipedia, the life and times and music of Pete Seeger, so I do not know when he got associated with that song. But I did not know that. It comes from Ralph Chaplin, 1912. Yes, he was blacklisted. He was kicked off of TV for sure. All right. Solidarity forever. Good evening. I'm Ethan. That's me. There's my name. Ethan Hirschenfeld. This is the No-Show for the 2nd of September, 2024. I did 666 strokes today in my little training swim for Saturday. Saturday is the big swim. It's coming up. Saturday's swim is the Swim for Life here in Provincetown, one town away. And my goal is, I have a fundraising goal, but more importantly, on the subject of solidarity, I have a more attainable goal, maybe, which is not the number of dollars, but it's the number of donors. So I'm trying to get 100 individual donors. So I'm going to put the link in there again. So I'm going to see if anyone is willing to throw in just a dollar, just a single dollar. There's the link. Please donate $1 if you can, just to increase the number of donors and a little bit the number of dollars. But it's a lot of great local nonprofits. And I am swimming the whole thing. It's 1.2 miles, and I'm going to do it all butterfly. 1.2 miles. Swim for life. Swim for life. So something interesting happened during my swim today, during my training swim. I was about 2/3 of the way through it. I had done around 400 strokes. What I figured out, by the way, with my other swim the other night when I did a full hour, is that every 111 strokes takes about 6 minutes. So I was about 24 minutes or so, maybe close to 30 minutes, 28 minutes into the swim. and suddenly I smelled something delicious. Oh, thank you, Leslie. Yes, Feldman's throwing in 99 cents. Perfect. I love it. Thank you. Um, I smelled something delicious. I'm out there probably about 40, 50 feet from the shore. It's the bay. It's pretty shallow. There's some people on the beach, but I'm smelling. It just smelled delicious. I had this vivid olfactory sense of pancakes and maple syrup, maybe muffins, baking, maybe omelets. I don't know. I was getting all these incredibly strong, vivid, acute breakfast smells. Meanwhile, with the butterfly, you're going underwater and then you come up for a breath and then you go underwater. So I'm thinking, what is going on? Am I having an olfactory hallucination? Because I looked to my right, there's no boat there. I thought maybe there was someone on a boat grilling something. But when I got out, then I walked back and I saw there was a tent on the beach and some people were grilling. They had what looked like they had a whole kitchen set up, different kind of grills or whatever. But I asked the guy, what was that? What am I smelling? That smells so good. And he said, it's steak. It was steak. I don't think I was smelling steak, but it's been a long time since I've had steak. But I've smelled steak in those intervening years since I stopped eating steak. Anyway, I can't say it was unpleasant. It was diverting. It was entertaining. It was enticing. So it turns out I was not having an olfactory hallucination. Thank you for the wishes, for the good luck wishes. Blah, blah, blah. The union songwriters need a new melody maker. Well, that's a good idea. Yeah, someone should write a new union song. That's a really good idea. Astral, I hope you're doing well. I belatedly read your note from the other night. I hope you're feeling good. Mary says, I'm hearing fireworks outside. My neighborhood has its holidays confused. Yeah, Labor Day fireworks. The craziest fireworks I ever heard, which I probably described before on this show, but it was Christmas Eve. No, I lied. It was New Year's Eve, 1996 going into 1997. So it was the waning hours. In fact, it was the waning hour of 1996. And I was in Naples, Italy. And I was getting on a boat that was going to be leaving sometime in the early morning for the Aeolian Islands, which are those volcanic islands between Sicily and Italy. The most famous of them might be Stromboli, which is where I was headed. Stromboli, which is known as a certain kind of Italo-Americano pizzeria confection. Um, I guess confection is sweet, so it's not a sweet thing, but it's some sort of pastry thing. A stromboli, as they say in New York. Incidentally, there was a great pizzeria on University Place that's no longer there called Stromboli or Stromboli. So I went and got on this boat to go to those islands. I went and got on the boat an hour or two early because Naples was just wild on New Year's Eve. The amount of fireworks being set off, all the explosions, it was a little bit frightening. Not to mention they would throw old stuff out the window, like in a lot of cultures to mark the beginning of a new year. You throw old stuff out the window or off your balcony. But if the thing that you're throwing out is an old couch, that could get kind of dangerous. The other thing that happened, and I witnessed this in San Juan, in Puerto Rico, where I was New Year's Eve, 1985, going into 86, visiting a friend. And there's quite a bit of people firing guns in celebration of the New Year, just firing into the air. But if you live in a building with a balcony and you're out on your balcony and the guy below you is out on his balcony and he's firing his gun to celebrate the New Year uh, up in the air, that can be a little bit dangerous. So, anyway, I got on that boat and went to sleep in my little cabin. And then I woke up at Stromboli, like 10 hours later or something. Mary, you reminded me of that when you said they had their holidays confused. I was thinking of Pandemonium. Is this the cooking channel? This is the cooking channel. Welcome. Tonight we're going to study a recipe that I've always enjoyed. I first started making it in my childhood. It's instant coffee. That's what's in here. So good. I don't watch cooking shows. I don't like cooking shows mostly for that reason. Because the punchline is always the same. The punchline is always the host taking a sip or a bite and going like this. Wow. That is, oh my God. And I find it so tedious. I know people love cooking shows, and I know there's a lot more to it than the moment when you congratulate or celebrate how delicious the thing is that you made. But I can't get over it. I can't get over that moment. The recipe for good donuts. I'm glad you asked, Richard. The recipe for good donuts is go on the internet, buy a plane ticket to LaGuardia Airport, take a taxi from LaGuardia Airport to Manhattan Avenue in Greenpoint and go to Peter Pan Donuts. Buy a few boxes of those donuts and then get in the cab, get back on the plane, and then that's the recipe. They're just the best donuts. And I haven't eaten donuts for years, but I ate enough of those for a lifetime. It's like you can have some donuts in reserve. Like I have donut memory banks. I have lots of megabytes of donuts, flavors, textures, smells, dipping the donut in the coffee, all of it. I've had so many delicious donuts there over the years. You know, if someone tells you God bless you when you're about to sneeze, you're doing that, and they say God bless you, and then you don't sneeze. You now have a God bless you in the bank. You have a God bless you on credit. You have a God bless you, like a God bless you traveler's check, if you ever find yourself in Sneezistan again. You now have that traveler's check, and then you can cash it and use it. It's something akin to that with the donuts. I ate so many donuts. I have a full memory bank credit. La 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 Nuro says, I don't watch cooking shows because they always have $1 million kitchens. Oh, that's an interesting quibble with those things. I don't blame you. I think people should do cooking shows for that reason in a typical kitchen with the typical equipment, the stuff that you would find around. That's a good idea. I'll bet that's out there. There was that guy, the frugal gourmet, in the 80s who had a related idea of cooking on the cheap in a way that rose to the level of gourmet. So the frugal gourmet. But then I believe it turned out that he was accused and maybe convicted of some sexual misconduct. Frugal, I don't want to spread any false rumors, even if she's no longer with us. Yes, he died 20 years ago. Yeah, he had a TV show in Tacoma, Washington. I think we even have some of his old cookbooks here. There it is, sexual abuse allegations. In 1997, 7 men filed a civil lawsuit against him, charging him with abuse. 6 of them alleged they were molested as teenagers while working at a pantry in Tacoma. He denied the allegations. No criminal charges were filed, but he and his insurers settled the cases for undisclosed amounts in 1998. The litigation ended his TV career, though he continued writing and doing charitable work. All right. He died in his sleep of heart disease at the age of 65 in 2004. He had 2 sons and daughters-in-law. So he was never convicted. They actually never charged him or convicted him. It was allegations that led to a settlement. So that's what happened. That's a kind of complicated end to his career and to his life. All right. Da, 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 da. Nora says I make potato pancakes. Mean potato pancakes. Yeah, potato pancakes are great. Potato pancakes are an incredible food. You can do them with applesauce. You can do them with nothing. Salt. You can go in the sour cream direction. I just had some really good vegan sour cream. There's a company called Forager or Forager, if you prefer the French pronunciation. They make fake yogurt. They make fake sour cream, other stuff. Forager. So I had their vegan sour cream, and I had some of it today just with some cucumbers. It was really good. I recommend it. I think I might have mentioned this last year on the show, but they used to, when you would finish one of their yogurts, at the bottom, they would have a little pun. They had a little pun either on the inside of the container, maybe it was on the outside, but it said a cultural revolution, which was just a bad pun or a bad double entendre because yogurt is cultures. But the owner, I think it was a father and son owners of the companies, they clearly had no idea that the cultural revolution in China led to massive suffering and death and displacement, and it was a horrific episode in Chinese history. They just thought it was a cool sounding phrase, cultural revolution. But I emailed them and they wrote back, and this was one of the rare occasions where my unsolicited advice was met with appreciation, because they did remove that from their packaging, which was good. In a related story, there was a cafe near me in Brooklyn founded by these Australian guys. It was called Sweatshop. I just don't think they were coming from Australia. I don't think they knew the history of the sweatshop. I think they thought it meant something different, or just was a place where people were working hard. And they also sold, along with the cafe stuff, they sold some hats and shirts maybe. So maybe they're thinking like sweatshirts. I don't know what they were thinking, but they finally got the message and changed it. I can't remember what the new name is, but that's on the subject of things that are named in ways that might not be sensitive or fully aware. What's vegan sour cream made of? Ooh, vegan sour cream donut. That sounds good. What is vegan sour cream made of? I think a lot of their stuff is cashew-based. Cashews. I think a lot of those fake cheese companies, they rely on cashews for that creaminess. Yeah, Forager. Forager. I recommend them. I like it. Yes. Oh, let me do a plug right now. This is incredible. I think I might have mentioned this also, but I had Moon Burgers for the first time. Moon Burger. This was just an absolutely delicious vegan burger. I'm putting the name of the company in the chat. It's a guy who was my neighbor and tenant for a long time, who he founded the company during the pandemic, and now it is, by golly, it is really delicious. And the company is expanding. Their first place was in Kingston, New York, Moon Burger, but I had the Moon Burger at their spot in Williamsburg, in Brooklyn, and it was just really great. And my friend who's not vegan agreed with me. So, for a diversity of opinion, just so you know, it's not just me. There it is, Moon Burger. All right, let me do a song. Let me do a good night song. Oh, I think maybe it's a time for another Pete Seeger. I think he did Irene Goodnight. I think I want to do that. I haven't done it in a while. Do 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 do. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Last Saturday night I got married. Me and my wife settled down. Now me and my wife are parted. I'm gonna take another walk downtown. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Sometimes I live in the country. Sometimes I live in the town. Sometimes I have a great notion to jump into the river and drown. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Stop rambling, stop your gambling, stop staying out late at night. Go home to your wife and your family. Sit down by the fireside bright. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. All right, see yous all in my dreams. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Ethan. This is the nosho every night at 9 o'clock East, 6 West, 3 a.m. in Helsinki. Thanks for your eyes and your ears, and I'll see you tomorrow.